Hi, welcome to Retrobot, the YouTube channel where we feed a friendly space robot a diet of pure nostalgia. So, we are here on a Friday night. For those who don't know, we did a special edition live stream just last night all about G.I. Joe Classic Series Snake Eyes. Oh my gosh, he's great. He's just fantastic. If you didn't catch us last night, then go ahead and click on that live stream, and then I know you're going to skip through it and fast forward. That's okay. I won't be hurt. But it is pretty awesome. We also showed some of the other versions of Snake Eyes that came out in 2008 and 2009. So there's a lot of cool stuff to look at if you like Snake Eyes. But tonight's going to be good. Are you ready, Retrobot? He is ready. Okay. Tonight, this is going to be so good. We are doing Gen 1 Dinobots. Yes, that is right. Gen 1 Dinobots. But first, let's go ahead and I guess I need to toast some people. We got people, and so we're going to do Dragon's Milk White, which is a bourbon barrel-aged white stout. I am not much of a beer drinker. We're gonna see how this goes, but I guess the thought is dinosaurs, dragons, dragonsaurus, dragon. Dinosaurs aren't dragons. She's making me drink beer. So we got an Autobot glass, and we're going to pour this out, and there we go. There we go. And that is my pour. Huh? I may not know how to drink beer, but I know how to pour it. And so, this is to Joy and Kyoji and Justin Riley and Canadian Ranger. Toast to each one of you. Joy. Kyoji. Justin. Ranger. Somebody named Monica in here. I think that's everybody. That's good. I still don't like beer. It's not bad. Actually, as beer goes, it's probably some of the best beer that I've ever had. I'm just not much of a beer drinker. Also, so I heard a rumor. Joy, I heard that you got one of the arcade 1-up pinball machines. I want pictures. I want video. That sounds amazing. And Joy, apparently you are drinking a good Bloody Mary. So toast. Okay, toast to Joy. I don't like beer. Yeah. Justin Riley, you are correct. But apparently we are being told that we're wrong. Yeah, wine coolers and margaritas. I think Meet Grimlock won a margarita. And most weeks okay, yes. So I'm being reminded that most weeks I get very yummy girl drinks, and I think that that's a good shtick, I'm just saying. So, and also I will say that honey whiskey is amazing. So, honey whiskey, it'll kind of get you messed up quick, but nonetheless, honey whiskey. So, yes, tonight we are doing Gen 1 Dinobots. Take a look at what we've got here for you, and I always feel the need to do that. I mean, the music really screams. So anyway, yes, we've got Dinobots, and as you can see, I actually have like a couple of most of my Dinobots. I have 1 3/4 Snarls, and 2 Swoops, and 2 Sludges, 2 Grimlocks, and 1 Slag, and 1 Weird Al Yankovic action figure. I bet you didn't know that Weird Al Yankovic was a Dinobot. Yeah, you learned something new on Retrobot. So, yeah, see? Honey whiskey is good for colds. I have a cold. Yeah, stuffed up. So, yes, we're going to. Okay, we've got a full bottle. So this will help supplement the dragon's milk. We'll still drink the dragon's milk. We'll just mix it up a little bit. And the way we're going to mix it up is I'm just going to drop this right in the glass. No, I'm not going to do that. I know, that's a Boilermaker, right? Yeah, I wasn't making that up. There we go. Whoa! And I just saw a notification saying that Grayscale just subscribed to our channel, so that's pretty awesome. A toast to Grayscale. Connie Field is here. That's a lot. Okay, so... and Canadian Ranger. You know, I still haven't gotten any Pepto. One of these days, we've got to get some Pepto. And you know what else? We need... Okay, Pepto. No, yeah, I'm not going to... I'm getting the... So, you know, we're going to have to come up with a mixed drink that looks like Pepto. I bet that somebody already has, and if not, we're going to invent it here on Retrobot, because there is nothing more retro than alcohol abuse. No, alcohol abuse is not retro. But what is retro is Dinobots. So let's go ahead and take a look, and we're going to start from the back here. We're going to start with Swoop. Yeah, we've got Swoop here. And Swoop, I don't even know how it is that I ended up with some of these. I don't remember getting my hands on what looks like a brand new Swoop. This Swoop is in beautiful shape. And for me, that's fantastic, because as I've mentioned in other live streams, all my Dinobots I got secondhand. I never saw any of them in the stores. So, and the guy that I got my Dinobots from, he had a lot of dogs in his house, and they had a tendency to eat and or pee on the toys. And yet I still bought them. And cleaned them. I did clean them. So, you know, that's good. Yeah, it's a good looking Swoop, and we have tried to match up the correct weapons in some of them. You'll notice that our missiles are not correct. I'm pretty sure that we actually do have most of the missiles, but they're all mixed together. So now I believe these are Swoop's correct missiles. I'm pretty sure this is Swoop's correct sword. And let's go ahead. We're going to try something, because I noticed during last night's live stream that I was actually able to get the camera to focus. And so here we go. Oh yeah, look at that. We can see Swoop, and oh, he looks so good. Look at the details on him. I mean, there's just nothing quite like this design. The metallized parts, the the combination of gray and red and black. I mean, he is an iconic looking character, and he really is. He is fitting of all the nostalgia attributed to him. He really is. It's just a fantastic looking toy. There's not a lot of posability. Most of the Gen 1 toys didn't have a lot of posability. And I was reading the article about safety reasons, and it turns out that a lot of the posability that might have been in the original designs was removed because, excuse me, I've had a little bit of dragon's milk. Because if a child were to move a joint too far, it didn't take that much force to break the piece. And then you would have a sharp piece of plastic. And so Hasbro, in a lot of cases, would limit the motion of some of these things, fusing legs together and things like that, for safety reasons. And I never realized that. It wasn't until one of the engineers, I think it was one of the Japanese engineers, realized that if they had a ball joint, it would be able to pop apart safely without breaking the toy, and then they get plenty of articulation. So that's...
Now we know. And knowing is half the battle.
So yeah, this is Swoop in his robot mode, and he's just got a great robot mode. I will say that Swoop was probably my least favorite Dinobot, and that's nothing against Swoop, but he was the smallest and the least badass looking of all of them. Still, when you're looking at a group of the Dinobots, that's still a high scale. I mean, that's kind of like saying my least favorite Beetle or my least favorite Dodge Charger. But he can fly, and that gives the Dinobots much needed air support, because most of the Decepticons could fly and the Dinobots were grounded, except in the Gen 1 cartoon where they flew pretty often, and then like the other Autobots still didn't. But even in 1986's Transformers the movie, you see them flying in robot mode and then transforming into dinosaur mode and attacking Devastator, and that was actually pretty damn cool. So nonetheless, love the character. Yeah, Kyoji was commenting that he still loved the character. Oh, really? So Swoop was your favorite besides Grimlock? Well, I defer to Kyoji's superior opinion, because Kyoji knows his stuff. The transform is really cool. I love the transform for Swoop. He's got his bird head down in between his chest, and then you have to collapse the arms. You shorten the arms, just like this. Maybe. I'm always very, very careful with these ones. And then you slide the arms into the body, and you also slide the two halves of the body together, which I always thought was pretty clever. That's something that I didn't see I don't think that I saw that in any of the other Transformers at that time. Of course, you're going to fold the wings out. I just did that. I didn't even say I did it. I just did it. You're going to fold the feet in. This is something that you saw on a lot of Gen 1 Transformers, where they would create a kind of a boot-shaped foot, but it didn't really have any heel support. Now, if this toy were made today, he would most likely have an extension that goes back, or maybe even have another part inside that would fold out. Like, they call that a claw foot, and I know that some people don't like it because it doesn't look as human, but they're robots, and it stands on the shelf way better that way. So give me claw feet. I'm not going to complain about a claw foot. But anyway, this foot just folds right up in here, and then you pull the legs out. And this is another thing where I want to be really careful because it's kind of stiff. I don't want to break the joint. And I'm still... There we go. So we pull it out like that. And now I'll do the other one. Oh, lost a missile. I'm applying a lot of force. I don't want to. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we've got... And that's kind of got a double hinge there, and then it folds up and wraps around. And that is also super, super cool. And then let's put the missile back in here. Of course, the American toys have the springs removed or weakened because, heaven forbid, you have a toy with a plastic spring that can shoot across the room that could kill someone. And you have an awesome, awesome pterodactyl mode. He really does look fantastic. What a great form. Look at that. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus in on that. I guess I have to put him in front of the camera. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the details that they molded into him. I mean, he is beautiful. Just gorgeous. You look at him from this angle. I mean, now the head does like to droop down, and that's so that he can see the death and carnage that he's raining down on the Decepticons. So, oh, come on, camera, you can do it. You can focus in on that. You can do it, camera. Maybe the camera can't. There we go. So, yeah, that's better. So, yeah, that is his pterodactyl mode. He really does look excellent. There is kind of a perching mode. So, I mean, it's not a mode, but he can also sit with his head forward. And I would kind of put the wings back out of the way. And then, you know, now he can sit. And he really does look great. Now, this is not the Swoop that I had when I was a kid. Like I said, my Swoop was secondhand and did not fare nearly as well. I'll show you my Swoop. This is my Swoop. I had painted him blue when I was a kid because in the cartoon he was blue for some reason. I don't know why they did that. He was the only one, but for some reason, maybe it goes back to his Diaclone origin, because I know that the Diaclone figures were blue. The metal parts were blue, and maybe that was just an animation error that stuck. But they didn't put that much thought into the original. So Monica was just suggesting that maybe they did that so that he would stand out amongst the Dinobots in crowds. And it's like, come on, they didn't think that much into it. So you'll notice he doesn't have any weapons. I did not lose the sword. Okay, I'm just going to tell you right now, I did not lose the sword. You see, when I got him, he had no lower half to his beak. So I sculpted the sword and turned it into the lower half of his beak, because I figured he was better off having a beak than having a sword. And he's just, his paint is in bad shape. His stickers are in bad shape. He's still whole for the most part, with the exception of the hand sculpted beak. His clear parts have yellowed badly. So, yeah, poor Swoop is not doing so well. Let's see. Guessing they didn't have the finalized US version of the toy when they colorized the character model, because yes, indeed, the Diaclone version had a blue chest. So, And Canadian Ranger is suggesting that I pour a shot glass. I don't know why. Welch's grape juice. Right. This would be white grape juice. White grape juice. Oh, this reminds me. I almost forgot. We have our secret word tonight. Whenever you hear prehistoric, that means that I have to drink. Oh, but, you know, I'm supposed to be drinking this one. Prehistoric! Yeah, sorry. I love you, and I know that this is a good beer, and I'm sorry that I just don't like beer. So, yeah. So this is my Swoop, and I'll even transform him. Not that you need to know what a sad version of Swoop looks like when he's transformed. Oh, also, this is something that I forgot to do in the other one, so I'll do it with this one. I never understood this. I guess this is to save the paint, but Swoop has landing gear. So, yeah, there's landing gear there. Wait a minute here. Let me. So that is he's got that little wheel there. And when I was a kid, I really didn't understand why a dinosaur bird would have a little wheel. I mean, these days, most of the jets that actually have landing gear in the toy version don't have landing gear. But nonetheless, Swoop has landing gear, and I guess that's so that he can you know, do this and well. Okay. I think that Swoop is. I think that Swoop at some point is going to get refurbished. We are going to bring back Swoop, and he is going to look great, and we're going to give him the love that he deserves, because he deserves it and he needs it. So we're going to set Swoop aside, and other Swoop, and so. Monica was just asking what year the Dinobots were released. They were released in 1985 and still on store shelves in 1986, which is why they did not get killed off in Transformers the movie. So, oh, Hope is here! Hope! I'm having to drink beer, Hope. So, you know, appreciate this, because I'm doing this for you. What? Oh, you want that? So, Monica's drinking the beer because, you know, at least it's going to somebody who can appreciate it now. So, Canadian Ranger, you just happened to say, make the Dinobots into combiners, and let me tell you something. I don't have to. And we're not going to go into this during this live stream, but I will give you a little bit of a teaser. Introducing Volcanicus, the combined form of the Dinobots. In Power of the Primes, the Dinobots were reimagined in their Gen 1 likenesses as a combiner team. And let me tell you, Volcanicus is amazing. Absolutely amazing. This is featuring the upgrade kits, and this is a case where he really needed the upgrade kits. The original combined form just wasn't quite there. And with the upgrade kits, he looks amazing. So, yeah, the the Dinobots do get to combine eventually, and that will be in a future live stream, because this is Dinobots Part 1. I don't know if we put that in the thumbnail or in the title, but this is Part 1. I may have to actually edit the title because this is Dinobots Part 1. There's a lot of Dinobots out there, and so we're going to talk about them all. Sort of like the Ladies' Night series, where, you know, periodically we do those. So I figured that I'd start with Dinobots, but nonetheless, yes, Volcanicus is absolutely as badass as he looks, and I will take great pleasure in talking about the Power of the Primes Dinobots in the future. So, that is... He goes right there, I think. He was here, right? Yeah, okay. There we go. Going to hand you a... Okay, so, I've got a new drink here. Where's the dinosaur? Huh. I'm glad that we got to see that it was green before the dinosaur went in there. Otherwise, I would think that it's taking the paint off the toy. So, well, this is very prehistoric. Okay. Oh, okay. Very well done. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. I would have drank the other one, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it. So, back to Swoop. So, Kyoji was just saying that one of his preliminary names was Dive Bomb. Oh, I remember this story. And I remember thinking that it was kind of a funny concept for a story, but apparently, okay, so this is where it comes from. Kyoji, I so appreciate you. I so appreciate you. So, what Kyoji was just saying is that one of his preliminary names was Dive Bomb. Dive Bomb, as we all know, is the Predacon that is a bird. A condor or vulture or something. I don't know. He's the bird guy. And so Simon Furman rolled with that in the UK comics by having Dive Bomb be Swoop's original name when he was still on Cybertron, but then he's lost his name to the future Predacon. And I remember reading that story in a collection of UK comics, because back when I was collecting comics, you couldn't get as an American, I couldn't get my hands on the UK editions. It wasn't until many years later that I started seeing UK collections pop up. So yes, very good, Kyoji. You know what? A toast to Kyoji and his prehistoric Transformers knowledge. So let's move on, and since I just showed you my Swoop, my Swoop from when I was a kid, and he was a little bit sad, then I might as well just go with another sad story. Is everybody ready? Okay, let's bring it down a bit. Let's take a look at poor Snarl. This is my Snarl. You can see that he's got kind of a stump leg here that I sort of improvised when I was a kid. He's got, let's move these guys out of the way a little. Okay, go
Just do it!
He's got half of a head. He's actually his tail kind of wants to come apart. He is in rough shape, and sadly this is another one that when I got him, he was in a state of disrepair. I I used to have the other half of the head, and you can see where I had tried to fix the hinge with this piece of red plastic here, and then the head did not hold. It may still be floating around in my parts bin somewhere, but right now it is missing and presumed lost for the ages. However, this story does have the potential for a very happy ending. I have recently purchased on eBay a Transformers Generation 2 Snarl that is also missing pieces, but it is missing different pieces than this one. And so we are going to restore Snarl to his original glory, and he is gonna look great. He is gonna look great. So that is gonna happen. I don't know when it's gonna happen because right now I have a retaining wall to build and a studio to build and some maintenance to do on the Dodge Charger. But nonetheless, it will happen, and when it happens, we will show you. Maybe we'll just do it as a live stream where I'm fixing Transformers and talking to you guys and belching on air and drinking alcoholic beverages. And my manners are a little bit prehistoric. That's got some stuff in it. So yeah, this is my Swoop, my Snarl, but there's some good news. There is some good news. I'm going to set sad Snarl aside because at Pittsburgh used to have this awesome retro toy store called the Groovy Store. And it was in Pittsburgh South Side on Carson Street. And several years ago, they did close down, which is, it's kind of a loss. Actually, they were called like the Culture Shop or something, but it said Groovy on the sign. And so everybody just called it the Groovy Store. And I saw this Snarl at the Groovy Store, and he is in gorgeous shape. Let's go ahead and give you a full view of Transformers Generation 2 Snarl, who is just a repaint of Generation 1, done in green rather than gray. But other than that, beautiful, beautiful toy. The gold pops, the translucent parts look great, and I'm having trouble with the non-mirrored nature of my camera preview. So yeah, look at him. He is just fantastic. Let's go ahead and go to the other camera, and maybe I'll be able to show you. I'm going to move these guys out of the way. All right, and there we have Snarl, and he really is looking awesome. Just awesome. Look at how that gold gleams. Even from the back, he just looks so good. Oh my gosh, he looks so good. He is holding an extra Swoop sword. I don't know how I have two of Swoop's swords, since I happen to know that one of Swoop's swords is a beak. But I know also at one point I just bought a secondhand bin of parts from a friend of a friend. So he must have had Swoop. So anyway, so yeah, this is Transformers Generation 2 Snarl, and he really does look just amazing. Just amazing. And what I love about this toy, what I love about all of these toys, is that whereas with a lot of them, I can look back and I can say, you know, I remember how cool this was when I was a kid, but really the toys that they have now, if I have to compare them side by side, the new ones in so many ways are better. But I have to say that the original Dinobots just look great. It doesn't matter that they're old. Yes, he has a tiny head. It doesn't matter because that just kind of shows by the proportions how massive and husky the body is. It doesn't hurt the design. Yes, he doesn't have a lot of posability, but his presence is all there, and he has all of these weapons and all these shiny bits. I mean, this is a beautiful toy. It is something. This is a work of art. The Dinobots are a work of art, and the only thing that is different between a normal work of art and these is that these should be played with. You don't have to leave them on your shelf. I mean, yes, show them on your shelf, but bring them down every so often. Transform them. Have fun with them. That is what they are made for. And appreciate them for what they are, because they are gorgeous. They are just gorgeous. So, that being the case, let's go ahead and transform Snarl. I'm going to take the weapons off. And we're going to fold the head down. So we're actually going to lift the row of plates up and then fold the head down. And then we can swing this forward. It's on a double hinge. And just close it against that. Look at how well that fits. That is such a neat motion. Look at that. That is just so cool. I love it. I just love it. And then we're going to fold the tail back. And see, look at how with the Gen 1 Dinobots, they really incorporated the parts of the dinosaurs into the transform. There was a small amount of shell former stuff going on, but for the most part, they looked at all the parts of the Dinobots and they dealt with it. They didn't just swing it to the back and say, okay, out of sight, out of mind. They actually incorporated these parts into the transform, and Snarl is an excellent example of that. So his wrists are spring-loaded, and you're going to close the foot, and it just snaps into place. And then I'm going to rotate that around so that it's in more of a dinosaur position. And at this point, you can see we've got the back half of the dinosaur body transformed. So now we're going to give him a rotate at the waist, and we're going to extend that. You see how that extends out? So we can extend that out, and then we're going to swing the feet around, because the feet are made up by the entire dinosaur body. Once again, love it. Love it. The dinosaur body makes great looking husky feet, and it also makes the robot mode very stable, which for a Gen 1 toy is really important. A lot of them, it was hard to get them to stand up on their own, and the Dinobots never had that problem, with the exception of Swoop, because he didn't have the big husky dinosaur body feet. Now, the thighs are on this pivot. In fact, maybe it would be better here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull his body back, and then I'm going to put the thighs together so that everything's together. And now I'm going to, and actually I'm going to have to pull these out. So I guess you're not supposed to. I kind of wish that they would have made this with a little bit of a divot so that I could do that first, because it's kind of hard to push the hips in when everything is transformed. So I guess I had it right the first time. I had it right the first time. Oh, Mazenfur is here, and apparently his internet is wonky. So I will toast you, Mazenfur. Every time you come in, let me know, because if your internet is wonky, I will toast you every time you come in. See, the problem is that Mazenfur is stuck with prehistoric internet. Oh. That's really good. It's apple pucker and butter shots. Butterscotch schnapps. Oh my gosh. That is, that's kind of amazing. So, so yeah, apparently Mason Fur's speed is akin to dial-up right now. Poor Mason Fur. I'm so sorry. So, okay, I'm gonna put this guy together and just kind of squeeze all the parts together, and there you have the body, and then we snap the two halves of the head together, and look at how nice his head looks when both halves are there. I mean, that's fantastic. So the front legs of the dinosaur are just tucked into these recesses, and they're on springs, so you can pull them out at the joint and then rotate them forward. And I'm going to pull this one out and rotate it forward. And now we just adjust the position of the back legs. And gosh, look at that. Let's put him on the other camera. Look at him. Just look at him. He's beautiful. He is just beautiful. And I'm not a huge fan of the repaints that were done in Generation 2. And I don't think most people were. But I have to say, oh, whoops, here, let's put this in here. That even though it's hard to beat the steely gray and gold of the original Dinobots, the Generation 2 Dinobots are really, really nice. And especially when they're in like-new condition, which this one is. What a beautiful toy. Just a beautiful, beautiful toy. Every bit of him. I just kind of want to keep showing him, because he's so nice. I got a little bit of a sticker thing happening here, which is a shame. It's the only sticker that looks bad on him. So, yeah. Generation 2 Snarl, repaint of Generation 1 Snarl in near mint condition. I love how solid the body is, too. I mean, you know, this is just, he's tough. You know, he's solid. He's thick. He's cool looking. Everything about him is so awesome. And then there's a hole in the back. You know, you can put the missile launcher. But honestly, how many of us care about the missile launchers on the Dinobots? I mean, if we're being honest, sure, we don't want to lose parts of our toys. And we want to try and hold on to every missile and every extra weapon and everything. But you know what? With the Dinobots, you know, whereas with some of the Autobots, you lose their guns, you lose their missiles, and you lose the extra bits, they start losing their identity. But with the Dinobots, you just need a Dinobot. Okay? Even a Dinobot that's not in great shape is still a freaking Dinobot. So, what? I don't know. I'm getting messages from my producer, and I don't know what those messages are. Asking if the Dinobots came with stickers, or did you put them on yourself? So, as I did not, so Mazenfur was just asking if the Dinobots came with stickers. Yes, the Dinobots came with stickers. Now, I never got to buy a Gen 1 Dinobot in the store. Every Gen 1 Dinobot that I own, I have bought secondhand, or maybe third hand, or maybe fourth hand. But I know that these have stickers on them. And I know that the Gen 1 Transformers, at least in the United States, whenever you got a Gen 1 Transformer, the stickers were on a sheet and you had to apply them. And also, judging by the placement of many of the stickers that are on the toys that I've gotten secondhand, I can tell you they were not applied by professional hands. So, yes, they would have come with a sticker sheet, and those stickers would have been applied. And when I refurbish my Snarl, I will probably print out new stickers and replace the old stickers. Either that, or I'll just paint him and not put on stickers. Because, see, personally, I have a love-hate relationship with stickers. They can add a lot very quickly and easily. But what I hate about stickers is that then they start to peel up. This toy is gorgeous. Let me put this back on the camera, see if we can get the camera to focus in. So, this is a beautiful toy. And 98% of it is in pretty much mint condition. There's no paint scuffs. He's still shiny. But there's this one sticker on the thigh that's peeling up. And as soon as a sticker starts to peel, it looks like garbage. And then you peel it up and it leaves a sticky residue. And then you try to clean that up and you end up getting a little bit of fluid on another sticker, and that one starts... I don't like how stickers look long term. And so for a lot of my Gen 1 toys, I'd actually prefer that they don't have stickers at all than have stickers that are going to end up looking nasty. So we will see. I might put the stickers on my new, when I refurbish Snarl, I may put the stickers on so that he really looks like he was intended. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. And Retrobot agrees. So, so, and Canadian Ranger apparently says that I deserve candy. Oh, thank you, Retrobot. Oh, I guess I can just do that. Thank you, Retrobot. Let's see what we got here. Ooh! We've got Minnie and Daisy. Happy Moments 10. Courtesy of Osaka Jack. Did Osaka Jack send these? Osaka Jack! This is awesome! This is so awesome! I want to see what's inside. Oh, we have Minnie Mouse candies. Okay, so I can either eat Minnie Mouse's head or I can eat this thing that looks like it might be a Reese cup. I'm gonna go for what might be a Reese cup. Oh wait, it's got a picture of Minnie Mouse. So these are Japanese candies. Okay, well this is cool. We are going multicultural here on Retrobot, and Minnie Mouse is looking a little bit flirty. Wait a minute here. I want everybody to see, because Minnie Mouse is giving me goo goo eyes. Come on, focus in, focus in. There we go. Maybe. Come on, camera, you can do it. Oh, there we go. So there you go. You can see that Minnie Mouse is kind of giving me the bedroom eyes. And, oh, okay. I'm okay with this. I'm not the least bit... Thank you, Minnie Mouse. I'm a little bit uncomfortable. So, let's just take a look at Minnie Mouse's flirty seduction candy. Does this have Viagra in it? Okay, it's chocolate. It's straight chocolate. That's good. Yeah. Okay, mental note. You have good candy in Japan. Yeah, that's good. All right. So, that was Snarl. Let's take a look at one of my favorite Dinobots. I don't know why. He never really did anything all that super awesome in the show, other than being able to out-earthquake Rumble and Frenzy. He is Sludge. And this is another one where I have two. And this is a case where I actually remember how I got two. So for a long time, this is the one that I had when I was a kid. And you can see that he's showing his age. The paint is not as shiny as it used to be. His stickers are a little bit worn, but he's not in too bad a shape. He's got some yellowing happening on some of the front legs here. But for the most part, he's okay. But he was missing from my collection for a long time, and I don't even remember how that happened. He just, I couldn't find him. And so, once again, we were at the Groovy store, and we saw Sludge, and this Sludge is in beautiful shape. You can see that he is shiny, and his stickers are in nice shape. His paint is in nice shape. He looks good. And so, of course, we spent the money and we bought Sludge, which I think at the time was about 20 bucks. I think that we paid about 20 bucks for him. And I have to say that if you look on eBay for Sludge right now, you are not getting a good condition Sludge for $20. That is not going to happen. But this was quite a few years ago. And then, of course, I found my original Sludge. So, yeah, this is Sludge. I'll show you. Because, the one that I grew up with deserves some time in the sun. This is him. Great Dino Mode. And one of the things that I always really thought was amazing about Sludge was it's such a dynamically proportioned dinosaur. Now, you've got the long tail, you've got the long neck. The chat. Oh, Mason Fur. Wait. Days to arrive, seconds to eat. Oh, lower. Pair of eyeballs. Lower? I only see pair of eyeballs. Yeah, I only see pair of eyeballs. Oh, Mason Fur, you're leaving. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, here. A toast to Mason Fur. It was great to see you again, Mason Fur. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I'm surprised I'm not seeing that message. That's weird. But nonetheless, so I always thought, boy, this would be a hard one to turn into a robot. And so it always impressed me that they pulled it off and that his robot mode is good. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead, just for giggles, I'm going to go ahead and transform the one that I grew up with because he deserves to be transformed. I'm not going to talk you through it because we're going to talk through the other one. Well, I might because it's biting me a little bit, and so I kind of have to do something while I struggle. So you see that the arms fold underneath. So it does inhibit the movement of the dino legs. That's one thing that's a little bit but it's a slight criticism, not much. I love the way that the back legs just lock in and go into these recesses, and then you split up the tail, and look at the way that squares off. I mean, everything just fits together so well for such an organic shape. And then we're going to swing the back half of the body. Once again, this is a familiar move with the Dinobots where you have the back half of the dinosaur body become the legs of the robot, and it's a good move. It's something that works really well and really effectively for these characters. You're going to pivot at the waist, and we're going to open up the chest. So he's got a little bit of shell forminess, but I mean, it's just making wings. robot wings are great, and they're relatively small. It's not like you have a ton of kibble hanging off of the back of him. And then you have the whole neck that just closes against the back, and it's pretty much the length of the body. So yes, this is a case where it's just out of the way, but you know, that's really not bad. Yeah, we're not adding just a massive amount to the back end of that transformer. And if I can get my thumbnail in there, there we go. So I got a fist, and I got a fist, and that is my Sludge. And, you know, even this one that is not in the best shape still looks amazing. He's such a cool toy. Such a great toy. Look at him. It is no wonder... It is no wonder that these toys were so popular, because no kid is going to buy this and be disappointed. You know, it's not like when you got, say the original, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, it's not like picking up Wheelie. And his robot mode kind of makes him look like an orangutan. And you're like, oh, he's not nearly as cool as he was in the movie. Oh wait, he wasn't cool in the movie. So you know, you got the Dinobots and they were big. And let me show you something else. Okay, this is Sludge. Okay, he's one of the Dinobots. This is Gen 1 Optimus Prime. Gen 1 Optimus Prime is very close. You know, he's still a little bit bigger than Sludge, but not much. You know, you feel like if they were in a bar and Sludge had a little bit too much energon, that he would pick a fight with Prime. And yeah, Prime would win that fight. But Prime would know that he was in a fight. Okay? So, yeah, that's Sludge. Oh, did we just pass 75 subs? Whoa! That is prehistoric! There we go. Yeah, we just passed 75 subs. Thank you, everyone, for subscribing. I really appreciate it. I mean, we just started this channel 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks, and we're up to 75 subs. That's awesome. I am so grateful to all of you, because we couldn't do this without you guys. We really couldn't. We'd just be barking at the wind if it wasn't for all of you. So thank you. And so, anyway, going back to what I was saying, no kid is going to be disappointed when they open up Snarl and they hold him next to Optimus Prime and he looks like he can hold his own. You know, a good example is the aerial bots. You get the aerial bots and you get these little dinky guys that have tiny, tiny heads and little arms that don't even reach past their chests, and then you combine them together. It's like, yay, I can form Superion, but Superion kind of doesn't look all that good anyway. But hey, you know what? I'm happy because I have all the aerial bots and I can form Superion, but it's not the same as when you get Sludge and he is just as badass in your hand as he was on the show. That's what makes these toys amazing. There was no disappointment factor. They delivered on the promise of how cool they would be when you got them. And so I'm going to put my Sludge aside, and I'm going to pull out my other Sludge. Oh, okay. Yes, oh, well. Sludge was supposed to be a Brontosaurus. I'm reminded of that because I've got this dinosaur here. And as most of us know, the Brontosaurus was then found to be incorrect. It was the body of some other, maybe a Brachiosaurus, maybe an Apatosaurus. I think it might have been an Apatosaurus body with the wrong head. And so for many years there was no Brontosaurus. And there was also the Diplodocus, which I always call the Diplodocus because it's funny. So I am going to continue using the word Diplodocus, even though I know it's wrong, because it's funny. So I've got a Diplodocus here. Actually, I don't know if this is a Diplodocus. It might be an Apatosaurus or a Brachiosaurus. But here's the crazy thing. At this point, they have reintroduced the name Brontosaurus to one of these body-styled dinosaurs. I don't know which one, except that it's called Brontosaurus now. So, Brontosaurus. Anyway, is this something from Kyoji? So apparently Kyoji was just talking about the Marvel comics. Marvel adaptation of the 1986 movie. Sludge gives a very detailed explanation of how the Dinobots found Cup, Hot Rod, and Grimlock to rescue them from the Sharkticons. Interesting! I didn't know that Sludge was that articulate. So also Kyoji was saying, I found that funny because Sludge in the cartoon was the slowest and dimmest of the other. Okay, very, very nice. Very nice, Kyoji. You know what, Kyoji, you and I, okay, this is to Kyoji. You know what, this is not gonna work. That's to you, Kyoji. It is funny, you know, reading your first comment, yeah, that I was just thinking the same thing. Sludge was never presented as the talkiest one of the Dinobots. But anyway, let's take a look at Sludge here, and I'm going to go ahead and take off the sword and the gun, and you've already seen it transform from dinosaur into robot. Let's show you turning Sludge from a robot into a dinosaur. Although, you know, I'm just going to give you a moment to appreciate how nice this Sludge really does look, because he is in great shape. He just looks fantastic. And I like the wing design. You know, I think that the wing design works for him. So that is Sludge in his robot mode. Awesome, awesome toy. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to fold in the fists first. There we go. We fold in the fists. And then we're going to put the dinosaur head up. But we're not going to pivot it all the way around. We're going to put the arms up like this, like he's saying, hooray! And then we're going to fold the wings around to where they're like this. And now I'm going to fold the arms back. Yes, that's what he's doing. And now he's doing that thing that I used to do with my shoulders back before I got old and couldn't do it anymore. I'm actually double jointed. For those people who don't know, I'm double jointed in my shoulders, and before I started having shoulder problems, I was able to pop my arms out of socket, and I would stretch that way. Sometimes I would wake up in the morning, and I had slept on my arm with it popped out of popped out of joint, and the arm would be completely dead. I had cut off the blood flow, and so I couldn't move the arm, and then I'd have to grab it with the other arm and pop it back into joint, and then the blood rushing back in was terrible. It was so bad, just pins and needles all throughout the arm while it slowly was able to move again. So anyway, this motion that's what I used to do, and I don't do it anymore because, well, I'm old and I've now had frozen shoulder and other shoulder problems, probably because I did stuff like that for my entire life up until the point where I started having medical problems. So there you go, yeah, so, sorry, Kyoji, I didn't mean to give you sympathetic pains, but, you know, the thing is that when I was younger, popping my shoulders out of joint felt great. It felt so good. It was like the ultimate stretch. It was like, ah. And it felt good until it didn't. And now it really doesn't. Now, if I pop my shoulders out of joint, it is excruciatingly painful. It is, I mean, I will get big, manly tears streaming down my face at how painful that is if I accidentally throw my shoulders out of joint. And here's the other thing. The ligaments haven't tightened up. It's still easy for me to do. It's just something that I don't want to do because it's horribly painful. So, now you know a little bit about my shoulders. So, hi, Dudley.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
So, anyway, Sludge is going to do that thing with his shoulders that I was just talking about, and then you can close the dinosaur head up against the rest of the dinosaur body made up by those wings. You can put the dinosaur legs down, and now you're going to fold up the robot arms underneath them. I will admit, I'm not a fan of that. I have one criticism of this toy. It's that his forearms go underneath the dinosaur. Realistically, he couldn't walk that way. But I will give it the conceit because otherwise this toy is amazing. We're going to rotate the body around like that. We're going to give him the splits. Now this is something that I can't do, okay? I cannot do that kind of a split. That's pretty bad. I do like that motion. I like that a lot better than Snarl's kind of awkward pulling out at the waist thing. This is easier to accomplish and it's more definitive. And then we can put the feet together because there are little tiny pins and holes that align everything. And then we can kind of give them a little bit of a tip forward and then rotate those feet together to make the lower half of the body. And now we can just click everything together and it makes such a nice solid body. He's so solid, you know, everything just forms and it's so organic. The curves are beautiful. Look at that. That's fantastic. And then we're going to take the tail pieces and fold them up, and they are also going to go together. And then we can pull the legs of the dinosaur out and rotate them down like that, and then rotate the feet into position. And now he has transformed into a brontosaurus. And I'm going to say that it's a brontosaurus because he's a brontosaurus. He was designed as a brontosaurus. If you followed the Gen 1 cartoon, they would have gone into an 80s museum that would have had a display of a brontosaurus, and his design was based off of that. If you go off of the comics, where he was actually engineered by the ARC's computer, seeing dinosaurs of that time, then he was some kind of maybe an Apatosaurus or a Diplodocus or a Brachiosaurus. But whatever the case, or maybe he's whatever they've ascribed the Brontosaurus to be now, just by coincidence. Because honestly, all of those dinosaurs look very, very similar. Okay, I'm not a dinosaur expert, but they are very, very similar. So this is his dinosaur mode. Let's go to the other camera. And looks great. He just looks great. The design on these is fantastic. The clear parts with the mechanisms in gold inside are so cool. I don't know who decided that that's what they should do, but whoever it was, whatever designer at Takara came up with that, was brilliant and still deserves a raise. Just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Once again, you can't get this toy as a child or as an adult and be disappointed. He's excellent. He's just excellent. There's just... Okay, yes, I complain about the arms underneath, but that doesn't stop me from loving this toy. He's fantastic. That is Sludge. Dinobot Sludge. Gen 1 Sludge. So, now let's move on to a character that shall remain in conflict with his name. So I'm gonna move some stuff out of the way so that there's no obstructions in the camera. This is Slag. His original name was Slag. That is how he was presented in 1985 when he was released. You can have the tail up like this, but the joint is a little bit loose on mine and tends to fall down, and it kind of stabilizes him to have it on the floor, so a lot of times I just leave it there, but you can have it up out of the way. He is a little bit more of a shelf warmer in the sense that they just kind of put the tail out of the way, and then they have the wings here that make up the body. It's not a huge thing. It's not a big thing, but he does have some kibble issues. So yeah, we've got this, and then maybe you can do that. But he definitely has some kibble issues in the back. But there you go. That is Slag. Still, excellent looking toy. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at Slag. I really like what they did with this missile launcher, how it's got this sort of disc-shaped thing that fits right into the recess of his shoulder. That, I don't know why, it's really satisfying for me to put that in there and have it fit. I can take it out, I can put it in. I can take it out, I can put it in. I can take it out, I can put it in. I can lose the missile, I can put it in. So yeah, I really like that. And also, because of that, I always know which missile launcher goes with Slag, because none of the others have that feature. So that's pretty cool. He's got a sword. He's got a gun. This gun feels a little bit underwhelming for a character like Slag, but you know what? Honestly, the Dinobots are not known for their shootiness. They're known for their gloriness. So yeah, we can take out the gun, take out the missile, and about games I've made that I would show you Kashi. Oh, Joy was asking about some of the games that Monica has made. So let's take just a momentary break from Slag. Do you mind, Slag? Nah, go ahead. So Slag says that that's okay. And this is a game that Monica created back when she was in school. It is called Kashi. And it has an African motif. It is a tile-based game. And she did all the packaging. I love this thing. I think it's so cool. We've got a little bag here, and inside the bag we have different characters. See, like here, I'm gonna try. Maybe I can show these on the other camera. That might be the best way because we got some tiny stuff. So we've got some little characters. How did you do the characters? The little. Let's see. The characters are carved out of other wooden game pieces. Okay, so Monica made these by hand. She essentially made these by hand by carving them out of other wooden game pieces. And so here, I'm gonna refocus the camera so that you can really appreciate these. Because she really did a beautiful job and deserves. And let's adjust the light. There we go. So yeah, look at that. Look at that. Monica did that. She's amazing. She is so good at everything she does. So that's one of the game pieces, and then this is another one. Love this guy. That is so cool. And then we've got a few others in here. Gonna try and. Okay, so we've got. Oh, there we go. We've got a couple dice, which she did not make the dice. You don't make dice. You buy dice. And then you got this character. Oh, look at that. That's so impressive. I was impressed years ago when Monica did this, and looking at it again all these years later, I am still impressed. Look at this guy. Oh, this guy is awesome. Look at him. Is that like Anubis or something? Because that's sort of what it puts. Oh, that's the cashier. That's the cashier right there. And then we've also got these little plastic characters, which I think came from a zombie game. Yeah, they came from zombies. So we were recycling those, and we've got wolves, and I think, is it all just wolves? I think it's all just wolves. So here we'll show off some of the wolves. This is a zombie wolf. And there you go. Again, yeah, she didn't make these. When you have little plastic zombie wolves, you use little plastic zombie wolves. Oh, these are jackals. These are jackals. So we've got the jackals. Got a bag of jackals. I'm glad we have a bag of jackals. I never knew how much we needed a bag of jackals, but we have a bag of jackals. And then this is the real meat of the game. There's some other little paper game pieces, but we have these tile pieces, and this was a game in the same tradition of like the zombies game, where you would get these tile pieces and you would keep building the playing area as you played the game. Also like haunted house on the hill, haunted, a betrayal on House of the Hill, prehistoric betrayal on House of the prehistoric. Whatever the hell that game is called. It's one of those games where you have paper tiles like these, where each turn you expand the playing area. That's the point of what I was very awkwardly trying to say. And then you have all of these cards, which You know, we've got the Kashi pattern on the back of the cards, and then the cards themselves give you different instructions. This is a beautiful game. We should play this again, because I remember really, really enjoying this game. Monica did it as a project when she was in art school, and she did an amazing job. But my honey always does an amazing job because she's beautiful and smart and good at everything. So that is Kashi. So, Slag's gun almost ended up becoming part of Kashi. And let me, I don't want to lose anything, so I'm going to very carefully put things back where they go. And there we go. So, you know, I love the little bag, too. We didn't make the bag, but we could have made the bag. We could have. I can make a bag. Monica could make a bag. We just didn't, because we didn't have to. We had a bag. So, put that stuff together, and then you have this beautiful box that Monica did some embellishing on to make it look this cool. So, anyway, there you go, Joy. That is Kashi by Monica Carlino. Available at a game store very, very far away with no website. It's going to be hard to find, but, you know, that's... So, yeah, Monica has always been extremely creative and extremely talented, and she is also literate enough to add content that is out of the ordinary and things that you don't see in popular media all the time. And this game is a fantastic example of that. And I admire my wife and am awe-inspired by her. And so, I love you, sweetie. So, anyway, back to Slag. Monica did not make Slag. So, this is Slag. Slag has a great robot mode. He really does look fantastic. I love the way that the mouth of the dinosaur becomes the chest implement. And this is another thing that I didn't show off in the other guys, but all the Dinobots have these passenger compartments from their days as Diaclone figures. Now, the one on Grimlock is usually fused shut, but nonetheless, they all have these places where a Microman would have been able to go, because that's the line that they were from. But yeah, you can see that the detail on such an early toy, there were so many little details, intricate details, that were put into these molds. Even without the stickers, these toys look fantastic. And so, let's go ahead and transform Slag. I'm going to rotate the horns forward. And I'm going to take the chest panel and put it up to make the mouth of the dinosaur. And I'm going to slide the fists into the front dinosaur legs. And then I'm going to take the wing panels and I'm going to close them around the body. And that makes the front half of the dinosaur. Now, in this case, unlike the other Dinobots, the leg is still intact rather than transforming with the legs. And maybe it's because he has such a wide body, they didn't want to further widen the legs by having tail pieces there. But whatever the case, what you're going to do is you can actually push the hips together, just like on Snarl. And, oh, actually, no, I don't want to do that yet. I'm going to spread them apart, and then I'm going to fold these around. Let's see. I'm going to fold these around with the tail out of the way. So they fold up like this. Then the tail comes down like that. And now with the tail out of the way, you can push the legs together. And see, this is something that I really don't like, and this is the thing that I don't like about where they did it with Snarl, is with his feet transformed into the back half of the body, it's very hard to get that to slide together all the way. There's just too much play in those limbs. You know, if I could press from in here, then it would work a lot better, but I can't because I have to have the body transformed in order to get the tail where it needs to be. It's a minor complaint, but it is something that I never really liked about the transform on this toy. We're going to rotate these legs, which haven't been moved in a long time, so they're very tight. And I hate putting too much pressure on them. I hate that click. I hate that click. That does not sound like a good click. It is fine. It's not broken, but it doesn't sound good. So, and then we're going to rotate the feet down. And now we've got a Triceratops. And that is a cool Triceratops. Let's go ahead and go to the other camera. So this is the Dino Mode, and like all of the other Dinobots, he really does look great in Dino Mode. Now, of course, like I said, it's really hard to get the legs to really go together in the back here. And my only, other than that criticism with the transform, the only other thing that I don't like as much about Snarl is that whereas Slag, is that whereas Snarl in robot mode feels super solid. You know, you got the legs in the front are really tight. This body is metal. It's a big fat hunk of metal. He feels weighty. He feels solid. He feels like you could throw him at your sister and she'd end up in the hospital. Not that you want to throw it at your sister and have her end up in the hospital. But Snarl, you feel the hollowness of these wing panels. You feel the hollowness of these legs that don't quite want to go together all the way. He's not nearly as solid, which is ill-fitting a character with a Triceratops transform. So, you know what? So, Kyoji asks a question, and I'm going to answer, why, yes, I do think that is just a little bit of beryllium baloney. It is prehistoric, in my opinion. And if not beryllium baloney, it might be cesium salami. Just saying. So, Slag, yes, Canadian Ranger was just asking if Slag shoots fire from his mouth. He does. And what's great about this toy is that you can open the mouth. Actually, you can open the mouth on Swoop. You can't open the mouth on Snarl. And that's a little disappointing because I'm a big fan of creature transformers where you can open the mouth and have them going, ah, ah. Now, Snarl doesn't, for a creature named Snarl, he doesn't actually snarl a whole lot. He more, see, yeah, he'd be like, wait, here, let's get that again, and we'll give it due. Wait, hold on, let me try and do this right. So we got to get the camera to focus in. There, okay, we got it. Do it. Okay, so. Yeah, Snarl shoots fire from his mouth, and you can open the mouth, and he can talk, and he can say, "Me, Snarl, think you full of beryllium baloney," and that's what Snarl does. And then in the cartoon, he was always shooting lasers out through the tips of his horns, which I'm okay with. I think that's cool. I buy it. But I will say that of all of the Dinobots, he feels he is the least solid feeling. Well, I guess Swoop is tiny, but his body is very solid feeling. It's very, it just feels dense. Whereas Snarl is a little bit lighter. And being that Snarl was kind of, I'm going to say unofficially, or maybe, actually in most media, he was kind of represented as the second in command of the Dinobots. So when Grimlock wasn't around, Snarl was calling the shots. And so for a character that was your second in command only to Grimlock, the toy is a little bit light, and I wish that things kind of went together a little bit tighter than they do. So, but nonetheless, I talk about this stuff, and I show you this guy. And you look at the way the translucents work, and you see all the detail inside that head. He is amazing looking. He is absolutely amazing looking. And the design aesthetic of this whole team is so impressive. Look at the way that they did the tail. Look at how they have these pieces inside the tail, and you can even see those little segments that they molded in there underneath the kind of smoked plastic. And then these smoked plastic things on his back thighs. I mean, there's so much fantastic stuff going on here aesthetically. So, when I make these criticisms, I'm talking about something that I'm already rating as a 10, if not an 11. Okay, the Dinobots are such a great set of toys that when I'm pointing out these little criticisms, it's not like, oh, it's not that good. No, don't misunderstand me. This is excellent. This is excellent. But I'm just going to be honest, and I'm going to point out things that detract from its excellence. And they are minor criticisms. Love this toy. And there's very little that I would have them do differently. So, that is Slag. Slag is in a little bit of a name crisis, because in 1985 when he was released, they called him Slag. Slag is a term for charred leftover stuff when you are melting metal. When you're melting stuff and you just have the impurities and the stuff that's left over, that's slag. And so it was a cool name to use for a Dinobot. He melts stuff with his fire breath, and he kind of creates slag in his wake. But apparently, slag is also used as a very rude thing to call people. I think that it's like some kind of mean thing to say to women in Great Britain. And so his name is now Slug. And all the current versions of Slag are now named Slug. A slug, other than like the creepy crawly that Survivor Man pulls out of a tree and says that they taste like peanut butter, which, he makes them look really good. Slugs are also like the slug in a shotgun, and a metal slug, a piece of metal fired out of a weapon. So it's also a good name for this character, and though I am not used to calling him Slug, I'm okay with it. And if it means that people in Great Britain won't be offended, then you know what? I'm not trying to offend anybody. His name's now Slug. So, I apparently get a Sweet Honey Award. Maybe because I said nice things about my honey. Because I was saying nice things about Kashi. But it's all true. you know, she's blushing. I just want everybody to know that Monica is blushing right now, and she doesn't want to be on camera, and that's the only reason I'm not turning the camera so that you can see how red her face is. But I apparently won brownie points. I got a burrito! Oh, holy crap! I got a burrito! Well, all right. Here you go, sweetie. You know what? That's... I should say nice... Oh, gosh. That is so good. And I'm just going to confess something. I've had a lot of booze tonight. I kind of need solid food. Yeah, that's good. I don't think I've had these before. These are good. Okay. Thank you, sweetie. My honey takes good care of me. But, yes, all of that I said was not brownie points. It's absolutely true. And, you know, it's part of the reason that I married her. And I get to keep her. It's all selfishness. I keep her. Nobody else can have her. You can look, but you can't touch. Well, if you wanted them to touch, I guess, you know, I don't know. We're a modern couple. So, we have gone through Slag, Sludge, Snarl, and Swoop. But I know the character that you really want to see. Here we go. Wait, let me adjust the camera. That's right. You want to see Weird Al Yankovic action figure. Yeah, look at this. I don't remember what year this came out. I didn't do any research on this figure. I got him because I'm a huge Weird Al fan. This is Weird Al with his modern head. He also comes with a classic 80s head with the glasses and the shorter hair. He comes with a microphone, but most importantly, he comes with an accordion. And he is fully posable. The hand sculpts are very impressive. Look at that. Those are accordion playing hands. Yeah, that is some good sculpting on that. So that is Weird Al Yankovic action figure. The detail on the accordion and the strapping is also really impressive on Weird Al. And for those who don't know, I had mentioned last night that I don't know why I mentioned this last night. I forget what came up, but I was talking about how I was talking about how we would show Weird Al Yankovic action figure, and my love of Weird Al has inspired me to buy a used accordion, which I cannot play at all. Wait, here, can I get the other... Oh, there we go. And so, yeah. So, yeah. So, yes. I'm a Weird Al fan. And I love Weird Al Yankovic. And I did mention last night that Weird Al Yankovic action figure would be part of tonight's live stream. And so we have now looked at Weird Al Yankovic action figure in all of his glory. Quite possibly the scariest Dinobot. Wait here. Let's see if the camera can zoom in on Weird Al. Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic figure. He's got actual clothing. These are cloth clothes. And he's got his Hawaiian-style shirt, except done with music note motif. And I have to say that I respect that. Sporting kind of a Hawaiian shirt, except with geeky stuff instead of plants kind of motif myself. So, yes, love Weird Al Yankovic action figure. Weird Al Yankovic action figure, just so that you know, will never leave this channel. We will have Weird Al Yankovic action figure again. And again. And again. So, thank you, Weird Al Yankovic action figure, for being part of this live stream. And, oh, are we going to do Pretender Grimlock? You know, we can do it. We can do it. Why not? It is Gen 1. It is Gen 1. I kind of thought that he might be on the shelf behind me, but it looks like it's... I see Pretender Starscream. Yes, you know what? We are going to do Pretender Classics Grimlock. And... no, that's Jazz and that's Bumblebee. Grimlock is gray. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the original. This is the one that you've really been waiting for. I know you have. I've just been putting it off because I'm kind of a jerk. And boy, this burrito looks good. It kind of helps to clear the fuzziness caused by all the booze. So, and yes, enjoy Gandhi 2. Gandhi 2. Gandhi 2, live forever. So, Big Grim Slade. So I'm just reading a comment from Kyoji. Big Grim Slade, Big Grim, leader of the Dinobots, comes outfitted with various guns, swords, flamethrowers, and an appetite for destruction that will knock your socks off. You know what, Kyoji? That is the best introduction that we could possibly have for Grimlock, leader of the Dinobots. There he is, in his robot mode. And in his dinosaur mode. He is amazing. I'm gonna move Prime's trailer out of the way so that you can fully... Oh! Here. There we go. Grimlock is probably the toy that every kid in 1985 wanted. He is... Now, let's just put him side by side. Oh, he's a little bit back heavy. But let's just go ahead and put him side by side with Optimus Prime. Once again, Optimus Prime is a little bit bigger than Grimlock, but not much. Not much. And Grimlock has huskiness on his side. Look at those arms. Okay. You look at Grimlock versus looking at Optimus Prime here, and he would absolutely kick Prime's ass in an arm wrestling contest. In fact, I think that in a lot of contests, Grimlock would absolutely hold his own against Optimus Prime. And I'm saying that with love because I love Optimus Prime. I love Gen 1 Optimus Prime, but Grimlock is something special. He is absolutely something special. So let's bring him forward so that you can see all the detail. He really does look fantastic. Look at that gold. Look at how that gleams. This is another toy that you get this toy and you are not disappointed. Yes, we have some back kibble. They didn't really integrate the dinosaur head. They just folded it out of the way, and it is pretty big. And then we've got the upper body of the dinosaur, which becomes wings, and that works. That's fine. but the dinosaur head in the back is a little bit obtrusive, and you can see that he's got an awful lot of stuff hanging off his back. That's a lot. But other than that, the robot mode is really, really well done. The head sits back a little bit far. It's not a big deal, especially for a Gen 1 Transformer. So, yeah, this is Grimlock. Let me get my panel. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus in on him. I'll put his arms down so that you can really appreciate what's going on here. So, that is Gen 1 Grimlock. Well, original Gen 1 Grimlock, because he was re-released as a Transformers Legends figure. From the back, he's a little bit kibble-tastic. But the translucent parts look fantastic. The body looks great. This is one thing that I never understood when I was younger. They made it so that he's got these... So, here, let me take the gun out of his hands. So, in his dinosaur leg, he's got an elbow joint. But then, in order to transform him into robot mode, you slide that up, and you essentially lock the arm into position. It's like, what? Why did you do that? You could have had an elbow. You could have had an elbow. You don't have an elbow now. Why? You could have had the, like, they could have done this and left the elbow and then folded the fist out on a hinge. I don't know. I don't know why they chose to do that. I guess it's just because posability was not a priority in the 80s. But I wish that Gen 1 Grimlock had an elbow. You know, straight arms are fine. Gen 1 Transformers, they were mostly bricks, and you were lucky to get some shoulder articulation. But seriously, you already had the joint there. Why would you? Oh, okay. I digress. Still fantastic robot mode. The body dynamics are just fantastic. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to try and get the camera to focus in on him. So, wait, will the camera do it? Maybe. Yeah, I think that the camera is focusing in. So he's got really nice proportions. Great shoulders, great legs. I mean, just a really, really well done robot mode that looks good from multiple angles. And of course, that iconic Grimlock face. He's just an excellent, excellent toy. So I'm going to go ahead and transform him. And we're going to slide those dino feet forward and then give just a little bit of a pivot at the at what would have been the elbow but isn't an elbow because they didn't make it an elbow. And that just helps to keep things from sliding back up. And then you take the whole chest, and it goes down. And actually, we need to get the hips out of the way. So we're going to do the splits. This is the same motion that we saw in Sludge, and it works equally well here. Oh, you found him! You found him. Excellent. And so then that makes all of this much thinner. And now we can take the lower body, and you see how that just locks against the rest of the dinosaur body. You have the back half of the dinosaur body right there, and then you have that, and then we're going to pivot at the knees, and we're just going to close the feet up against the back of the body. This is the same motion that we saw in Sludge, and it works perfectly here. And then we're going to fold the tail, and we're going to snap those halves together. And it makes a really nice, solid dinosaur body for Grimlock. And he has... Okay, so Grimlock comes with this missile launcher. And I don't think that this is actually the right missile, but it goes, you know, it's a missile. But here, let me just transform the arm. Okay, so this is what it's like in an arm. He can't hold the missile launcher in robot mode. He can't hold it in his fist. I guess if it were completely sideways, he could hold it like that. But, so, it's not a gun. It's not a handheld gun. And he doesn't have holes in his shoulders, in his robot shoulders, to put this. So I don't know where this goes. There is a screw hole. So here, I'm going to finish transforming him. The dino head snaps up against the body, and it really does a great job of just bringing all of this together. And then you can pivot the head forward, and you can open the mouth, which is very important. And he's got this screw hole, and that's the only place I can think of to put this missile launcher. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. It came with the toy. You know what? There's another screw hole over here. Maybe. No, that's too loose. I think that the missile launcher goes in the side of the dinosaur head. This is a case where if you lose this accessory to Grimlock, it only increases the value of the toy. So, if you are selling a Gen 1 Grimlock and you don't have this missile launcher, charge an extra $5 because I don't understand the point of this missile launcher. So, anyway, this is the Dinosaur Mode. And, oh my gosh, look at that! Look at that! Oh my gosh, he's so cool! You can rotate the claws up. You can put him into tail up mode. He doesn't have to drag his tail. I know that he was always depicted as dragging his tail because in the 80s that's what we thought Tyrannosauruses did, but he doesn't have to. Let's go to the other cam. So this is Grimlock in his dinosaur mode, and oh I guess we've got two Grimlocks in their dinosaur mode. And honestly, is there anything that's not cool about this toy? There is nothing that's not cool about this toy. The head sculpt is fantastic. The details in the neck. Look at what they've done with the neck. Yo, this is another example of those translucent parts that have kind of a smoked translucent, and then underneath they have all these mechanisms showing in gold. That is so cool, so unique, and something that wasn't showcased in the show at all, but should have been. I understand they had to simplify for animation, but it looks amazing. And then you look at all the details. He's got very few stickers on him, and he doesn't need them. And then you look at the body, and the body is fantastic. And yes, he does have a compartment for... Oh, wait, this one... Okay, so apparently later ones, this was locked shut. And I think that I even have a little Zoid pilot somewhere around here. Maybe not. Okay, I can't find the little Zoid pilot, but you could put him in here, or if you were one of Don's friends, you could trap a bumblebee in there. So, you know, he's got a Zoid pilot cockpit that goes right there. That is fantastic. Look, he's even got molded in details in his jaw for laser cannons, you know, because Grimlock was always shooting lasers and fire and stuff out of his mouth, and so they've got that molded in. This is an amazing toy. It's absolutely amazing. And once again, this is a toy that if you were a kid in 1985 or 1986 and you got a Gen 1 Grimlock for Christmas, you were a happy kid. You were the coolest kid on the block. And you know what? You deserve to be, because owning stuff makes you cooler. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that statement. But I do have a Gen 1 Grimlock, so I'm going to stand by it for now. Yeah. Gen 1 Grimlock. And I didn't have Gen 1 Grimlock for years. The first Grimlock that I had, let's bring out Pretender Classics Grimlock. So here's how things worked out when I was younger. My friend Don brokered a lot of deals because I was in the small town of Reynoldsville, Pennsylvania. Population like 1,200 or something. I don't know, 2,000. It's a small Pennsylvanian town. It's very, very rural. Don was from DuBois, the much bigger town 10 miles away. So when I went to high school, I went to DuBois for high school. And so Don knew a lot more people that had access to the mall. In Reynoldsville, we didn't have a mall. We didn't have a toy store in Reynoldsville. The Transformers that I bought for myself, I bought at Western Auto, which had a toy section at that time, even though it was kind of a hardware store. But they had a big toy section, and they had all the Transformers, and I bought all of them. But then when I started going to high school, and I got to go to DuBois, the big DuBois, I started getting to go to the mall, and I started getting to go to most of my Transformers I got at a place called Mike's Hardware Toys and Stereos Certified Locksmith. Yes, and we are not sponsored by Mike's Hardware Toys and Stereos Certified Locksmith, but Mike's Hardware Toys and Stereos and Certified Locksmith, if you are still in existence and you need to sponsor somebody, let me tell you, I'm your guy. Because all of my, circa 1987, 1988, and later Transformers, I bought at your store. So I got my Fortress Maximus at Mike's Hardware, Toys and Stereos, and Certified Locksmith. I probably paid too much, but you know what? Mike loved me. I mean, he would be there to greet me when I would show up with my paper route money, and I shelled out $75 for Fortress Maximus. And then, after the fire, I shelled out another $75 for a second Fortress Maximus. It was the only one of my Transformers that I replaced from the fire. The other ones I did my best to clean up, and I failed. But Fortress Maximus was something special. I really just couldn't stand to see it rusted and stained and broken. So I did replace that one. So anyway, Don brokered many, many deals. And what Don would do is he would figure out, he'd find somebody who was getting rid of their Transformers, and then he would get a price for that group of Transformers. And then he'd figure out which ones out of the group he wanted himself, and then approach me with what was left over and say, hey, are you interested in getting this group of Transformers for this amount of money? So essentially, his brokerage fee was the Transformers that he wanted. And when he brokered the deal to get me the Dinobots, he wanted Grimlock. He didn't care about having the other ones, but he wanted Grimlock. And so he got Grimlock, I got the rest of the Transformers, and at that time, it was 1987, you could not find an original Grimlock. It might have even been 1988 by then. And so But what did happen is they released Pretender Classic Grimlock. Let's look at this. This is Pretender Classic Grimlock. This is Gen 1. This still counts as Gen 1 Grimlock. He's sculpted as a fat guy in armor. But you have to understand that in 1987 or 1988, it was the only Grimlock that I could buy. And you know what? I will even say that I loved this toy when I was a kid because it was Grimlock. It didn't matter that he was a fat-looking, oversized human figure. It was Grimlock. And yeah, I'm sorry, Canadian Ranger. I am a dork. I will agree. Yes, in fact, I'm a prehistoric dork. And woo! I'll give you that. And maybe we'll just fill this up. Yeah. And yeah, he kind of looks like John Candy. Doesn't he look like John Candy? Wait, let's go back to the cheaper cam. This is Grimlock, played by John Candy, in Transformer balls. So, yeah, okay. The Pretender shell is nothing to write home about, but oh, you know what? It's missing the other gun. No, you don't understand. Without the other gun, Grimlock can't transform because it's the back half of his body. Okay, we're not going to have a fully transformed Grimlock because of the way that this figure was made. You take his helmet off, and you pull the Pretender apart. And I always thought that Pretenders were kind of a cool concept, yet implemented cheaply. And I would, yes, they did revisit Pretenders in, was it Power of the Primes, or was it, I don't know. They have, yeah, I think it was Power of the Primes, where they would have Pretender figures, and they were much smaller with little Titan Master guys. Maybe it was Titan's Returns. It might have been Titan Returns that had the little Pretenders, and that was okay. But I would love to see them do Pretenders well. Now, obviously, giant humans doesn't make sense, but I'd love to see shells, creature shells that were posable and had a little bit more going on than just being two pieces of molded plastic that hide a really, really cheaply done toy. So this, here we go. This is Pretender Classics Grimlock. That's his robot mode, and he is, yeah, this is him. This is him. This is Pretender Classics Grimlock. Let me go ahead. I'll show him on the other camera. That's the robot mode, and it's okay as robot modes go, but honestly, it's nothing in comparison to the original. It is a far, far cry from the original. But Hasbro knew that people like me would want to have Grimlock, regardless of what he looks like. So yeah, I got, and I'm gonna try to transform him. Although he doesn't have his tail, it's in the bin. Monica is currently trying to find the tail. But so you put his So he's got his head here, and you pull that out, and you put the arms up, and then you rotate the body. You rotate the legs, and then you pull the head down here, and then pull these down. And then if you had the tail, this is something that I always hated. I hated it on this guy. I hated it when they would do it in Beast Wars. I always hate when you have a Beast Mode that the tail is the gun. Because when you don't have the gun, now your Beast Mode doesn't have a tail. We have the gun somewhere. It got separated. Oh, no luck? No, wait, here. We've apparently got another Slag. I didn't know we had... How did we get 2 Slags? I don't understand. But... I've got a second Slag here. And he seems to be in pretty decent shape. So that's Slag number 2. Yeah. We're not going to get the tail. So, and you know what? The tail doesn't help that much. Let's just be honest. Let's just call it as it is. This Grimlock is sad. He is a sad, sad Grimlock. The mouth doesn't open. You've got you can move these arm things. You can sort of move the leg things a little bit. But me, Grimlock, would eat this Grimlock. That not Grimlock. So, yeah. Yeah, that is Pretender Classics Grimlock, and honestly, having the tail is not going to fix this. I'm just letting you know right now. Having the tail will not fix Pretender Classic Grimlock. And then they did Action Master Grimlock, which I also have somewhere, but we don't have to show. Oh, you have him. And he is in Wheeljack's car. So this is Action Master's Grimlock in Wheeljack's car. I think it was Wheeljack's car. And let's just go ahead and show Action Master Grimlock. And in some ways, Action Master Grimlock is an improvement over Pretender Classics Grimlock, because at least they're not even trying anymore. His robot mode looks more cartoon accurate. He's got okay proportions. He's got a big noggin that doesn't really work very well. This is not his original gun. His original gun was a giant thing that turned into a thing with treads, and he couldn't really hold it. You don't have to get it. You don't have to get it. She's going to try and find it. But yeah, this is what happened to the Gen 1 line. This is why the Gen 1 line stopped. And I think that this is actually a really good comparison. Oh, okay, we have his little thing. So this is Grimlock's gun. So supposedly, oh wait, here. So supposedly he would hold that, and that would be the gun. Let's go ahead and go to the cheaper cam. So yeah, that's supposed to be a gun. It's not really much of a gun. You transform it, and it's sort of a mobile treaded thing. And here, I'll take that off. So you can peg his feet into this, and you can bend at the knees, And there's here, actually it's better if you just unlock the thing, and then you put his fists in like that, and so he can sort of ride this, and we'll show that on the cheaper cam. So that's, you know, and that's kind of cool. Having, you know, anytime that he can ride something, that's kind of cool. And he had another little pistol that could fit into the end of here and make it, and that was usually used in the gun mode, which was ridiculous anyway. But here, well, there we go. There. So he's holding on to that, and so that was a thing, and it could sit there, but no, Action Master Grimlock cannot fit into the Pretender shell. We will try, just to satisfy the internet. We will try, but I'm pretty sure that I've tried it in the past. Maybe it can, but I don't think it can. So we will take Action Master Grimlock. We will put him into... Wait, you know what? I am wrong. There we go. We've got Pretender Classic Grimlock with Action Master Grimlock inside. Yeah. Action Master Transformers, they have the power to surprise. They changed their slogan. It wasn't really good. But here is this is actually a really good way to show in a very concise way. I've had a lot to drink tonight. Why the Transformers Gen 1 line ended. It didn't end because people lost interest. It ended because we started with this. And then we went to this. And this. This is why Transformers Generation 1 stopped. Hasbro's modus operandi at the time was keep doing what we're doing, except do it cheaper. And they got to a point where the stuff that they were producing just wasn't cool. I enjoyed, I don't even know what, so these are part of the Buddy L. Robotron Dinosaur collection from 1985. And these are better than Action Master Grimlock. Here, let me show you these. So, they've got opening mouths, and you can transform them. Here, let me pull out the little. Maybe there we go. Okay, the tolerances on these are really bad. I can't get that one. Okay, just pretend that oh, and it fell out on its own. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. And then the body does something. Oh, here we go. We just kind of pull at the hips. We continue to pull at the hips. We continue to pull at the hips. There we go. Okay, we've almost got it. There we go. So, that is the Buddy L. Stegosaurus guy. And then we've got a Buddy L. Brontosaurus guy. And again, he's got an opening mouth. That, the colors are ridiculous. But, if these were done in Dinobot colors, then they actually wouldn't be all that bad. And again, both of these guys... Imagine if this was what was inside that Pretender shell. It would actually be better than the Hasbro-produced version of Grimlock, one of their most popular characters, and they completely phoned him in. The guy that if you can't find his gun, he doesn't have the back half of his body. So, yeah, once again, I'm having trouble with the hand, but that is the robot mode. And, you know, that's... Just imagine these guys in non-ridiculous colors. Okay? Just... Is it really... Are these guys really so much worse than this? Not really. Not really. It just isn't that good. I loved him as a child because he was Grimlock. Because I had 4 Dinobots and no Grimlock, and now I had a Grimlock. And my imagination could take me the rest of the way there. But honestly, it's no replacement for this. Not even close. I'm going to transform him again because I can. And that's the thing. I want to. Oh, his head is a little bit stuck. There we go. I'm always so worried about breaking these guys. They're 35 years old. Here we go. And there we go. And flip the tail. There we go. And do the hips. Maybe. If I'm capable of doing the hips. There we go. And I'm saying there we go a lot. Because at this point I'm really inebriated. And, and coming up with intellectual commentary as I transform this guy is really, really difficult. But look at that. This is almost an insult to this. If I were the designer of original Gen 1 Grimlock and I saw this, I would be offended. I would be offended. To think that this is on the same level as this, or, you know, that.
Ice Bear wants his money back.
Yeah, you know what? Ice Bear does want his money back. This toy is remembered. It is remembered for 35 years and counting. And just so you know, we will get there. We're not going to do it tonight. But it is remembered so much that they produced Masterpiece Grimlock. And notice that Masterpiece Grimlock has absolutely nothing in common with Pretender Classics Grimlock. They did not try to tie in any kind of a reference to the Pretender shell that everybody wants to forget. This is the Grimlock that we remember. Except done to the degree that as adults we can appreciate. But this is not that far away from this. It's bigger, it's far more detailed, it's beautiful. And this is a love letter. It is a love letter to the original Grimlock design. The iconic Grimlock design. I couldn't think of the word iconic because I've had too much to drink. So, I think we're there. I think we're there. In the future, we will have more live streams about Dinobots. We will go into Beast Wars Dinobot. We will go into other dinosaur characters, and you know what? After looking at Pretender Classics Grimlock, I feel like I need this. That's prehistoric. We will visit Masterpiece Grimlock and give him his due. We will visit Volcanicus and give him his due. And we will do Animated Grimlock, Energon Grimlock, and the Power Core Combiners versions of the Dinobots. And lots of other stuff. So keep your eyes on the Retrobot channel because we are just getting started with a lot of prehistoric action. And I don't have anything to drink. I guess I'll get a lot of prehistoric dinosaur action. Have a good night, everyone! Oh, and please, if you haven't already, please, subscribe, click the notification bell so that you know the next time that I'm going to be inebriated, and also comment. Yes, comment. You tell me what your favorite dinosaur transformer is. I want to know, and so does Retrobot. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone. I say this every time, but honestly, I couldn't do these things without you. When, we had live streams, especially the special ones where we start out and we haven't really announced them, and there's, it seems like nobody's there. And I have to tell you, it's a little bit kind of sketchy for me because I feel like I'm talking to the wall. So I really appreciate all your comments. I love the chat. Oh, hey, Nature View is here. Holy crap. Nature View is here. I have to toast Nature View even though I'm saying my goodbyes. So, also, next week, my old friend Dawn is going to be a guest star on the live stream, and we're going to talk about Predaking. So, that's going to be amazing. Thank you, and yes, Nature View, thank you for this is my Godzilla breathing a rainbow and my onomatopoeia Hawaiian shirt. And Nature View, I don't know if you saw, we featured Weird Al Yankovic action figure on this live stream. So, and yes, Canadian Ranger, I'm getting some Pepto because I'm going to need it tonight. I am really snockered. I'm just going to admit it. Everyone, have a great night. Thank you so much for attending. Hopefully, we'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend. Thank you and good night.